Hi, this is your head coach, Steve Hopkins, and we are embarking on one of my favorite dimensions of wellness this month. And I'm so looking forward to the journey with you for the next 30 days, and actually for however long you decide to keep this one stimulated. And what we're talking about is health. And I know when we get to some of these dimensions, they seem massive and broad and lots of different definitions for all of us. And this month's is no different. I want to share just a couple things that I think are important when it comes to health and being leaders, our capability of being leaders. Maybe get some insight of the things that you see and I see, and we realize as we look around to the health of leaders we respect and aspire to be, and maybe some of the indications of aspects of health that are neglected, maybe, and make us wonder about the quality of somebody's leadership. And yes, it matters even as we talk about our physical and mental and emotional bodies. But I want to leave you at the end of this with couple, a couple handful of ideas to stimulate this area and purposely pay attention. Remember, our whole mode of operation here, so to speak, is awareness, right? To practice equals performance. And make no mistake, health is in the same regard. So let's start out with just a couple ideas about health. And the first thing I want to share with you is this idea about when we use our bodies, certain aspects, the tank, if you will, the meter of health is diminished, right? So think of your physical body, right? When you exert your physical body, when you use your body, it needs to be replenished, right? The factor goes down. Same with maybe our investment in emotions, right? Maybe even the same in our investment of our mental side of our body, right? It goes down. And so when I just think about that, meaning to charge back up, to replenish, we need a period of time or an event for that to happen. And what it makes me think about is the real commodity of health, the real thing that we need to pay attention to when it comes to leadership in health, the connection of the two. There's this commodity that I like to call energy. All right. So, right, your energy meter, like you're like in it, or you're kind of tapped out a little bit, right? And it doesn't mean anything about you as a person. It's just your state. It's just uh, how and where you are because of what you've recently gone through, right? You get done with a marathon race. How are you physically? You're probably not ready to run another marathon, right? You've depleted your physical energy, and so you need time to rest, recover, and be ready to go back into battle, back into the race. And so when we think of this, I want you to think that physical and emotional and mental energy, mental health need to be replenished. All right. There's another dimension of health. So those are all important, by the way. And we use physical, mental, and emotional in leadership. All right. We're going to talk about that a little bit. There's another one, though, that is very important and is a little bit different. And that is relational health. All right. So relational energy, all right, the energy we pour into interacting with other people, being around other people, and investing in other people is a little bit different. Okay, that energy tends to elevate and renew itself because it thrives on interaction of other people. It's almost like charging a cord into a light a socket. All right, and all of a sudden that's what restores, that's what builds, that's what gains momentum. It's kind of a 1 + 1 = 3 mentality. And so we can invest in that kind of energy and not feel like it keeps getting depleted and getting depleted. Okay, and so that's really important. Being around other people that are charged equally helps us. Okay, And we can be doing great things in relational wellness, relational health, at the same time as being invigorated and elevating and renewing our energy level. Okay, so all that makes sense. So we've got all these different dimensions of health. The last thing I'll leave for you before we get to business impact is that this is the part of this is a dimension that really readies us to do work, right? The ability to do work is at the foundation. Capability in our health and wellness is just almost the assumed capability to put all the dimensions into motion that we're talking about here, right? We talk about any of the other dimensions, it's almost making the assumption that you have the energy to devote time and effort towards them. Practice itself, right? If you played a sport and somebody was sick, they weren't able to practice, right? They had to sit out of practice even to get ready for the game on Friday. In fact, I had a rule that I grew up in both college and football, college and high school football, that if you missed a day of practice because of illness, you weren't able to play, you weren't able to start the game on Friday or Saturday. All right, you could become well enough during the week that you could get back in the game, but somebody else had to prepare more than you because you were ill a day that they got to start. Right? And that's just common sense, right? It's like we weren't able to practice because we weren't healthy enough. So it hampered our performance when it came game time. And that's the same way in leadership, right? All the other things that we want to practice and get good enough to perform at are impacted by our health and well-being and energy level. All right. So let's talk about business impact. Clearly, because of all those things, and we're talking about improving health and wellness. We're talking about your own personal performance increasing, right? And that's really awesome. What's interesting then is because of that, you also increase the performance of the people around you, right? That's what leaders do, by the way. We're trying to inspire others, and our health and wellness investment does that. We're able to pour more of ourselves into that, all right? I like this other part too. Great people, energized people, healthy people are looking for energized and healthy places to serve. It becomes an awesome recruiting attraction, if you will. Okay. And think about it. I mean, the people and the places that you've thrived the most are places where people are healthy and vibrant and energized, right? Not sick and tired and worn out all the time. It drags you down as well. Right. So this is a great benefit. The last thing I'll mention is that when we really practice to perform in this area, we get better at coaching other people how to self-sustain and how to support other people as well. So it's kind of like this domino effect, right? So your health and well-being impacts other people, okay, all the way to other people learning to self-sustain and coach and train and impact others right down the line, right across the playing field. Okay, so those are great things. If you want your team to be more healthy, be more energized, then we want to work on this. All right, you and I can do this together. All right. What are some things that you see out there where you say, "Oh, that's a person that's kind of got this wired"? All right, share a couple things with you. And these are interesting signs and symptoms, if you will, that somebody is really a high performer in health and wellness and energy. You have the ability to help other people, right? And not help each other in a contractual exchange way, like I'll do this, then what are you going to do for me? It's helping other people without expecting to pay back. You have the energy to invest in others, right? You have the ability, even emotionally, to express gratitude to others. I mean, there is the power and the ability to give, right? Um, and I think the other thing is that when you're energized like that, you instill confidence in other people. The troops, if you will, become more confident. You can motivate others, actively listen, all these cool things, right? And when people are dragging, when they're tired, when they're weak, when they're sickly, if you will, all right, um, you can't help but focus on yourself, right? Think about this: when you're really sick, like, don't you feel selfish? You're asking everybody to help you. Oh, woe is me. go get this for me, I need help, right? It just natural helps happens. So tending to be selfish comes out as well. Um, we end up, because of that dominant conversation, our listening quality goes down when we're kind of on the lower side, as well as because of that, we don't have the perseverance to keep going all the way to the finish line. And so here's one really, really important thing of somebody with a low energy level, low health is you get satisfied with mediocrity. Yuck, right? So we don't want any of those things. So let's talk for a second. I've got a couple things I want to share with you. All right, we want to be energized. It doesn't matter if things are good or bad. All right, predictable, unexpected. All right, we're going to rely on our health and well-being and energy level to play forward no matter what goes on. All right, whatever the battle turns into, whatever the game out there becomes, not going to be impacted by our energy level, because we're going to tend to it, and we're also going to surround ourselves with some people that add to that as well. All right, so let's talk about the levels. The first one is physical. I'm going to make this very, very simple. I'm going to give you a word, an action word for the physical wellness, and that's to move. Just pick your favorite way to physically move. All right, and we're going to shoot for 4 to 5 times a week. All right, we're not goofing around here. We're not playing around. We're not trying to start a new little tiny habit. If you want to be a leader, you're going to find a way to physically move 4 to 5 times a week. Your favorite way. Just associate moving, physically moving. All right, walking, running, swimming, it can be whatever you want, but something that involves moving. All right, that's why I love multitasking with like a walk and talk type of a meeting. Move, energize, get things going. All right, so physically, you need to move. All right, how about mentally? Mentally, I associate mental wellness with curiosity. All right, so the word there is curiosity. All right, curiosity. Think about a puzzle. Curiosity about the answer. I mean, I'm curious about what the answer of that question is in a puzzle. So curiosity. So here's an activity you can do is to pick one thing, all right, one thing that you're curious about, and take an action item to investigate and dig into that, right? Could be Googling it. It could be watching a talk on it. It could be signing up for a workshop on it. It could be something bigger than that, right? It could be pursuing a conference about it. All right, curiosity, mental health, mental energy, mental well-being. Okay, how about emotionally? I have one of my favorite books, Daily Jam here. It's written by Sarah Gardner. She's a yoga person, a wellness person, but she's decided to write like a daily devotional book. Right, this is just a way for me um, to kind of unplug. So emotional wellness, there's lots of dimensions here. These aren't exclusive or anything, but I think of unplug and unload. Those two things are awesome for emotional wellness. So on the emotion side, choosing a way that defines your ability to unload something. So what I like to do here is I'll read my daily devotional, so to speak, all right, and then I'll write journal one page about what's in my mind and my heart in connection to that, and just unload that, just get that out of my body, right? Lots and lots of ways to stimulate emotional well-being and energy. That's just one idea. Okay, one idea. All right. The last one, though, I think is even more powerful, and this is one I really like to challenge you, and that's the relational wellness, relational energy, if you will. All right. Remember, health connected to energy. Put those two together. Make sure you're tapped into an activity that gives you what you're looking for. So this one, I like kind of thinking about either a person or a group of people that you respect, all right? That you wanna connect with, you wanna spend time with. This could be an existing relationship, a known group, or it could be you're curious about a group. You see them over there and that seems energizing, and you've always wondered about that. Okay? So remember, health, energy, we have a curiosity component there too. That's energizing in another level. But respect is interesting. Respect means that you're already kind of willing to invest because there's something there that connects with you. All right. We don't usually get depressed with people we respect. All right. So people we respect, we are keen to opt into, listen, engage with, and often draw some positive takeaways from. All right. So what you want to do is you want to look around and try to identify 2 or 3 people or 2 or 3 groups of people. Could be a networking group, could be a church organization, could be anything that you respect, and take an action item to kind of jump in there. Create a lunch meeting. Ask for an invite to attend the Wednesday Lions Club or whatever, right? Anything. Relational wellness, relational health creates relational energy, all right? So there's a whole host of action items there, all right? Pick one of each if you want. See what happens to you after a month of investing in your own well-being. There's one last one I want to mention, relational. There's a great website as a closing tip for you called Lunch Club. I use this as well. And Lunch Club is just this artificial intelligence linking um, matchmaking where all you do is commit to a virtual lunch a week if you want. You can do it less than that with anybody across the world that they match you up with based on your profile. And you can just get to have this conversation for 45 minutes if you want. And again, it's just, hey, somebody I respect, I matched up, I could have a conversation. I've left those meetings with strangers so often very energized, learning something. So anyway, last little tip, but I want to encourage you. Remember, awareness. These things are important for our own health and well-being. It adds energy. Okay, that's our commodity for health in leadership. We need awareness. We need to practice them, invest in them. All right, double down on something you already do. Pick something new in one of those categories this week for this month. Okay, and that's going to lead to greater performance. You're going to find your energy levels climbing and sustaining at a high level in all the facets of your life. I look forward to seeing you on that journey and look forward to seeing you on the other side of the river as well.